thanks for tuning in. My name's Sam and I'm based in Mid Wales with the Big Lunch team. And on my right I have...
Hi everyone, I'm Annabel. I'm based down in Cornwall at Eden as also part of the Big Lunch team and excited to be here talking to you today, Sam.
Yay! So today is the 7th of May and that marks the 1 month countdown to the Big Lunch. And for anybody that might not know that already, that's on the 7th and 8th of June. So we thought we would come on to here because you might have your own Big Lunch planned, or you might be thinking, oh, there's still a month left, I might just plan something. And we're here to say, first of all, it's never too late because it should be a really easy and simple and fun thing to do. It's just about getting a few neighbours and friends together where you are and having a little bit of fun. So we thought we'd pop on and talk about some really simple ideas that you might want to do as part of your Big Lunch to help you on that day if you're at that stage now. Ideas for bringing out the fun mostly, because we're definitely going to have the sun, right? It's always sunny on Big Lunch weekend. And so this is about bringing the fun and the colour to that weekend. So where should we start? Maybe with before a big lunch and that sort of time where you've got the space to create and make. And Annabelle, I know that you are a big fan of the B word, which is bunting.
Bunting.
So tell us what is so special about bunting and some of the things that you've done with it.
Yeah, it's in my dreams. It's my day job. I can't get enough of the bunting. Well, we always say as soon as you put up a bit of bunting, wow, doesn't that make a difference? And we say it every time and it doesn't seem to get old, but it does. It does make a difference and it builds excitement around a thing. I always find the first thing I do when I get to a venue or an event or start setting up for a big lunch is hang the bunting. And people come over and start talking to you and say, oh, what's going on here? What's this about? And so it's quite a nice natural conversation starter. But we've raced forward to putting up bunting. And as you say, Sam, I do enjoy the actual process of making bunting as well and have been lucky enough to host some workshops across the Southwest last year, creating bunting, which is you can see in this photo here. And it was all about getting people together. And I use bunting to actually explore people's definitions of nature and asking them some of their memories of nature, which was really lovely when you've got a mix of people of all different ages and from all different parts of the world as well, and how their memories of nature change and how that came through in the bunting. And I just used actually waste material that we had from our design team here, so offcuts of print material, a bit like flag sort of material really, or you can use an old kite or a windsock, perhaps something like this. You can be really creative with what you use for your bunting, and as I say, you can be creative with what you put on it as well.
Yeah, I know that some people, talking about sort of using materials, what you've got, some people I know have like bunting parties before, whether it's a big lunch or another event, where they get together around a table with a load of material and a load of sewing machines, and they just cut them up together, bring in their duvets and curtains and just using what they've got at home.
Yeah, old t-shirts. It's great, but I think there's another thing that you've touched on there, which is also like connecting through an activity and how you can use your putting bunting together for the big lunch as a bit of a pre-warmer as well, and almost chat with people about how things might go on the day or whether they want to do a big lunch by just getting together and doing a fun mindful activity really.
Yeah, it's an excuse, isn't it, to kind of break down those barriers before the days, so then you're not so nervous on the day about who's going to come because you've already met a lot of the people already. One of the things I did,
I was just going to say, you've also then inputted in the day as well, haven't you? You can be like, I made that on Tuesday, and there it is, and Sally did that.
Well, on that note, actually, when I did one of mine just on my front garden, when I sent the invites through the door, I just cut up literally a paper triangle and put that along with the invitation through people's doors and just said, decorate this in any way you want and bring it along on the day. And then I just strung, I've got a picture here, I just strung some string on the front of my fence, and on the day people just walked it, and I had pegs ready and they just pegged it on. And I've actually kept these because it's a nice kind of reminder of the day as well, so in years to come we can look back and go, do you remember this? Or it can come out year on year if I keep it well.
I love that. Yeah, that's a really lovely example of how it brings people together.
Yeah. And another thing that, we're talking today about things that we've either tried or we've seen other people do, right? Because other people, we have the sort of honour of going around and seeing what other people do a lot of the time. And one of the ones that I really liked up in Scotland, in terms of bringing people together beforehand and upcycling things and getting creative, was this palette idea. So this is Waverley Terrace Big Lunch Group, and they just got palettes and painted on it and had this out a couple of weeks beforehand to let people know that the big lunch was happening. And then also on the left hand one, you can just see that they've started to use another palette as a road closed and sort of to say why no parking is allowed there on that day. And I thought that was a really great idea as well, because you can imagine a little painting party happening beforehand to make all the preparations happen.
100%. I love those palette signs, but also I think somebody mentioned recently on one of our network calls about decorating road closure signs, because often when you see a road closed, your instinct is to go, oh, why is that road closed? But actually putting something next to it, whether that be a palette or hanging some bunting up on that sign, is more of an invitation to say, hey, come find out why this road's closed. Leave your car there and come and join in. And that upcycling of the palettes is a really nice way to do that. And you can go one step further as well, can't you? Because we were talking recently, weren't we, about positivity signs, and there's some communities across the UK that are planting either stone painting or also those sort of wellness signs and keep going and all that sort of stuff, smile. And you can break up bits of palette and use that as an activity on your big lunch, and then kind of spread that throughout the community, during the big lunch and also after, which is just loads of different ways you can get creative, really, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the fun ones that I recently saw last year, actually, at a big lunch in Cwmdu in Wales, they got people to make their own hats. They'd had a hat competition, but the theme was about using stuff that you've got at home, being sustainable, finding what you've got and creating hats out of that, and to bring it to the big lunch. And I thought that was a genius idea, because it takes the pressure off the organizer to fill it with things, because people are bringing the fun with them as well, and they've already got involved beforehand. So here's a couple of pictures from the day, and I think those two on the right were possibly the winners. But
the winners.
It just naturally brings that sense of fun as well, doesn't it? Because and creativity that people often can't resist getting involved in if it's laid before them.
Yeah, 100%. And any activity that makes people feel a part of the day or invested in their day really helps break down that, natural feeling of nervousness we all get when we're going along to an event for the first time, so I think it's brilliant to see.
And in our packs, for anybody that might not have downloaded one yet, we've helpfully got some bunting templates for you. So I think there are 3 different ones in there that you can use to just cut out in all different sizes as well, and also a party hat template that you can use. You could put it on the tables on the day, or you could hand it out to people beforehand. But it's a really good opportunity and a really good resource. Really easy, makes it easy for everybody.
Yeah, loads of free resources and activities in the Big Lunch Pack. It's great to see.
Yeah. And what about creativity during a big lunch, Annabel? Have you got any ideas up your sleeve for that?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the past, we've done some stone painting during the big lunch, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about, keeping people busy, and actually coming up and chatting with somebody is great, but sometimes can be intimidating. Whereas what we did was we laid out some white stones on the table with a couple of pens and a bit of old paint, and people just kind of naturally started picking up these stones and started having a conversation and a bit of a joke around what that was. And then people from different areas had also, some of them had seen it before because it had been going on in their communities. There's one in Great Malvern, actually, so shout out if you're watching the StreamYard, keep going, but it says take heart, and all the local shops keep putting them in their windows, and it keeps on coming, and it's really lovely, and you can't help but smile when you see it on the street. And so yes, you can do these lovely things of the activity on the day, but the one step further from that is it also helps kind of continue to spread that feeling of community and positivity after the big lunch event, which I think is really, really lovely and exciting, and what we're all here for, right?
And a lovely follow-on activity from a big lunch, isn't it? You can imagine people carrying on doing those sorts of things and planting them wherever, because this is about keeping it really simple, isn't it? And keeping it really fun so that anybody can take part in it, and might want to go on to do stuff afterwards as well.
100%.
So We can't talk about Big Lunch without talking about ideas for bringing the food to the table. So let's talk about that and the different ways that people have done that, because there's not just one way for a big lunch to happen. I know, Annabel, that you've been part of some events where people have brought dishes with them. Do you want to just say a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, there's food is a superpower, isn't it? So there's power in food and what people want to bring along. And some of the things that I've seen in the past, that some of the events, the big lunches we've done, is essentially the same theme of upcycling old wood, is, you know, upcycling old vegetables to make delicious carrot salads, or carrot, cauliflower and cucumber. I think we had once, which is that bowl on the left there, which is not something personally I would ever thought about putting together, but when you see it there in a bowl, it's quite enjoyable to have a go and try something new. As well as sharing those stories that mean something to you, sharing those recipes that mean something to you and your family and where you're from, and bringing that and sharing it with other people. But also, some people came along to these events and they'd never tried those vegetables. That was a new thing for them. And actually that element of sharing dishes, and sharing our ways of cooking those dishes is really powerful. And I love the fact that some people left those big lunches having tried cauliflower for the first time, which is something I wouldn't think twice about. Not that I'm a big fan of cauliflower, actually, but it's great that somebody just came along to try something new and they were in that space. Yeah. How about you, Sam? Have you had the same sort of thing?
Well, it's just reminded me that, as well as sort of an opportunity to have that real diversity and that sort of taste explosion, I guess, because people coming will have a whole range of cultures and backgrounds. But I also thought about how much it makes it easier for the person hosting the big lunch if everybody is bringing one dish. When you first think about holding one, you think, oh, have I got to provide everything for everybody? And it's not that at all. If somebody brings a packet of crisps, if somebody cooks their best curry, you have a whole range of lovely food for people to taste, but it's no pressure on the person organising it. Yes, that's what came to my mind.
And again, that goes back to everybody sort of contributing to the day. But obviously, a question that you and I get a lot, I know, is, how do we do this on a budget? How much does a big lunch cost? And I think that's what I was just talking about in terms of this carrot salad element. Actually, you can bring something to the big lunch for under 50p. Go to your local reduce bin and see what you can find from there, and get creative. And there's loads and loads of recipe ideas on our website as well about how to do that, which is lovely to see. And as Sam said, we've had, it's lovely that we've got that mix of different experiences across the UK, and we've sort of pulled them all together on the website as well, which is great to see. But I think samosas were my favorite. They're such a good shareable dish. They had samosa. That was Patricia from Cafe Abundance in Cornwall. So shout out, Patricia, for your samosa.
Well, I hope Patricia's going to be entering the recipe search then, because that's something that closes in just 2 days' time. So I'm just going to tell everybody a little bit about that. So we are after the best or favourite shareable recipe across the UK. So if you've got a family favourite, or something that you cook in a hurry, or something that's been a hand-me-down, or something that's a crowd pleaser, do send in your recipe. You've got the link at the bottom there, but you can also find it on our website just by clicking on the Big Lunch recipe search. And anything and everything goes. So please do enter it. And there are some lovely prizes up for grabs, including having that recipe shared in the cookbook and shared amongst all the Big Lunch organisers. And I think there's a special big lunch happening in London that a couple of winners get invited to. So do share that. And of course, the other myth on the subject of food that people get trapped into is thinking that the big lunch has to be big, that you have to have a lot of people and you have to be able to feed a lot of people. But a couple that I've been involved in have been picnics where everybody's just bought their own picnic and sat on the field together. And also one of the ones that I did in my front garden was literally just here on the right hand side, a cup of tea and some cakes. I just put out a table, some cakes and a bowl of hot water, a canister of hot water, and people just help themselves. So don't let that put you off either. It's about everybody doing one little thing rather than doing a lot yourself.
Yeah, and also making use of those green spaces, those public green spaces that you might walk past every day. never stop to sit in, and maybe somebody else is walking through that same green space every day. And actually, if you put up a poster saying "See you here on the 8th of June at 2 p.m," see who turns out. It doesn't have to be at your house with your neighbors. It's community in this real sense of the word, whether that's local sports club or hobby club, or your local parks. I think it's a really lovely opportunity to actually go and make the most of those green spaces and explore them as well. And I know COVID saw us all exploring the green spaces around us, and I don't know if that's been lost a little bit now, but some councils, for example Plymouth City Council, have got a great website where you can go and explore all the parks that they've got around them as well. So if it was something that you're interested in but not sure where those green spaces are, you can check out your local council website as well.
And most of them are really, really approachable. We think that councils are kind of, whoa, how do we approach a big institution like that? But they're really approachable. For me, it was just that park picture there that you just saw was literally filling out a form for permission, and that was it. No cost at all. The biggest thing I hear, the biggest worry that I hear from people is firstly about anybody turning up, and then how on earth are they going to get people chatting? Is it going to just be an awkward silence? And we know that as soon as people get together, they do chat anyway, because we're natured that way, and people just connect, and we're naturally wanting to be curious about people. But have you got any thoughts, Annabel, on ways that people can help others to connect at a big lunch?
No pressure with that question. Have I got any thoughts? Say hello. Start with saying hello.
Yeah, and some of those side-by-side activities that you talked about, like the stone painting and the bunting, those sorts of things where there's no pressure to make direct eye contact with somebody, but you're just happening to do something alongside chatting.
Yeah, well, look, you're going to have a mix of people, isn't it? That's what makes these events so special, is that loads of different people are getting together. So some people are naturally more chatty than others. So some people will naturally gravitate towards whatever leaflet you've put down to start reading it, and not want to make eye contact, whereas others will confidently stand there and be up for conversation. Some things we have in the Big Lunch pack are table talkers. We have conversation menus with fun questions, asking something. I think something there, it's a bit random, but I think that one says find someone that slept in a tent. we're trying to help with conversation starters. I was doing this activity the other day, and one of the questions was, can you find someone that's got a fun fact about bees? And I never learned so much about bees in 10 minutes of my life. So you never know what those table talkers can bring out. So do check out the Big Lunch quiz for that. But there's, we talk about using chalk, don't we? We've done hopscotches at big lunches before, and just drawing on the pavements, nothing fancy at all. But you can also draw a circle of chalk, or a chatty circle, and people can jump in and out of them for a couple of moments. These chalkboards are something I used recently the other day. Exactly what you've just described. I was running an activity with some food, and I was nervous about getting people into the activity, and I popped up these chalkboards. I just literally painted some chalk paint on small bits of wood. And I asked people questions like, would you rather talk to animals or chat with plants? Or which was quite topical for the Big Lunch, have a spontaneous chat with a stranger, or a cuppa with your neighbour, which might be a bit too close to home if you're doing it on your street. But these silly little questions on would you rather is a great way to get conversation flowing, but also super interesting when there's like that intergenerational mixing with those same questions. One of them was find someone that's planted a tree before, and we had little ones going up to different people's grandparents, asking them about the types of trees that they'd planted, and they didn't even know about it. And actually that was such a nice prompt for information sharing as well. So it's one of those things, when you think about it, you think, oh no, how am I going to do this? I don't really want to talk to people. I'm feeling nervous. Is anyone going to come? And then on the day, you can slowly start building it up. So it's more like here's a toolkit of ways that you can get people talking to each other, and choose what works for you. Some of them might not work. Some of them might work brilliantly. So
absolutely, yeah. And on that would you rather thing, it's also a way in for young people, I find, because it's kind of it was the in thing. So I've got a 12-year-old, and I was at an event just recently, and he came along, and one of those pictures was the would you rather that we did. And having that chalkboard gave him the confidence, because he understands the game really well, to go and talk to other people as well. So it was a really good tool for young people. That whole mix, the intergenerational mix, is great.
Which is something that lots of people from different ages are getting together at this event. but they might not be mixing. So it's actually a really nice extra layer to think about actually what sort of activities can we do. And once it starts happening, it's this sort of self-fulfilling cycle of positivity, and more people sort of jump in and get involved. Often you just need that 1 or 2 people to start doing something. Yeah. And then the whole crowd goes on, and you think, well, that went well. I can step over there and eat my sausage roll.
Yeah, like a sort of simple challenge as well, put before people that encourages people to work together. This was one that literally just used a roll of foil. So this was an event that I ran, and I put the foil in the middle of the table, and the people around didn't all know each other. But the challenge was to make a sculpture out of this foil, and that was one that table made. But it gives people permission, doesn't it? It encourages a gentle question or challenge to people, and they'll take it on. And of course, there's like silly fun games as well, like this one in the centre here is in South Wales in Nice with the fan club, and they collect 2p coins all throughout the year, and the odd numbered houses are against the even numbered houses, and then they lay them all out as part of their big lunch. They started doing it on the street and then moved their big lunch to be indoors of later years, so they've started doing it on tables, but I thought that was really fun. And of course bubbles, really cheap and easy to do, and everybody, you can see a fully grown adult there taking part in bubbles. And then on the upcycling note, that the same Waverley Park in Scotland made this Splat the Rat using pallets as well. So a whole, we're not short of ideas, but it is just about putting them out there, and the people will come and play.
Not to mention a tug of war. I love a tug of war. That's a classic.
True. Although I don't know, it could we're supposed to be bringing people together here.
That's true.
Not making them fall out. But nothing makes people fall out more also than a quiz, right?
That's very true.
In the big lunch packs, we've got some quizzes that you're able to download and use at your will. Also a cupcake challenge here that you could actually use to raise money, right? Because that's another thing that you could do with your big lunch, is use it as a fundraiser for something local. So there's oodles of things in the pack there that you can try out at home. I reckon we've talked enough. Do you think?
I think we've covered a lot.
I think we have covered a lot, yeah.
I'm excited for our big lunch.
Yeah. I'm going to finish us with this quote from a big lunch organiser, actually, that just says, it's a really simple way to bring communities together and enjoy some food and games. And that's really all it is in a nutshell. So have fun with it. Just have fun. And if you've got one coming up on the 7th, 8th of June, or throughout June, we hope that you have a super time with it. And we're going to finish with a really short video of reminding us all about what it is. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. See you.
We're bringing the bunting.
I'm bringing the fairy cakes.
I'm bringing my disco ball.
I'm bringing some tea and some yummy cakes.
I'm bringing hummus and some traditional flatbread.
We are bringing fresh vegetables.
I'm bringing the pasties.
I'm bringing a bit of cheese.
I'm bringing a donation jar to raise money for my community.
I'm bringing the music.
We're bringing our dog Bunny. I'm bringing some laughter.
I'm hoping to bring some sunshine, like this. The big lunch takes place on the first weekend in June. Millions of us will be taking part, and you can too. It's a chance to share friendship, food and fun, and to get to know your neighbours better. So what will you be bringing to the table? Come and join in at thebigLunch.com.